It's the first day of early voting, and San Antonio is going to get to decide what downtown could look like. Coming up on GMSA, what to know about Prop A and B to make sure your voice is heard.
And a tragic 2023 shooting back in the spotlight. Today, the jury will hear if 3 officers followed proper procedure in the death of Melissa Perez.
Plus, a shooting at a West Side bar overnight. A man shot in his SUV. The suspect's on the run. How police say this happened. That's next. Good morning. Happy Monday. It is October 20th. Good to be with you guys this morning.
She's going to be hanging around with us all week long. And it's okay because we got a lot of stuff to get to and tackle right now.
Absolutely.
Meteorologist Justin Horn in the building right now. Justin, you got hope on the way.
A little bit, yeah, as we get to the end of the week. There's a lot to look at this week because we're going to have sort of a yo-yo forecast, as I like to call it. Humidity surges in, it leaves, it comes back. So don't get caught off guard. Let's first start with the situation outside right now. We had a dry day yesterday. Humidity levels plummeted, but now they're starting to rise again, and we can see that in the form of cloud cover. So starting to turn cloudy out there, and the humidity will increase as the morning wears on. As we look outside, temperatures have actually risen. We were down in the low 60s earlier, but because of that surge in humidity, we're now at 67. 61 New Braunfels, 63 right now in Converse, 63 in Bernie. Look for these numbers to continue to rise. If you're heading out to the bus stop this morning, we'll start off, yes, in the upper 60s, some clouds, and then by the afternoon, mostly sunny and 91. So after school practice, still not fun. When are we going to get some changes? Well, as early as tomorrow, we do get a frontal boundary, and I'll tell you what that means for tomorrow's forecast and the rest of the week coming up in just a couple minutes. Sarah?
Justin, thank you. New this morning, a man is fighting for his life after San Antonio police say he was shot while sitting in his SUV. So police say it happened at a West Side bar just before 11 last night near Old Highway 90 and Cesar Chavez Boulevard. Police say a man and a woman parked in front of the bar, ran up to the victim's SUV and fired shots at that vehicle, striking the victim in the head. The suspects got away in a vehicle and the victim is now in the hospital, listed in critical condition.
Good morning, everyone. Today is the first day of early voting here in Bexar County for the special election coming up November. On this year's ballot, you're going to see different items for school bonds, Texas constitutional amendments, and what you might have heard about, Props A and B, which could decide if the Spurs get a new downtown arena. Since 2015, let's take a look at some of these numbers. These are the special elections in November's for off years, where there's not a general election and there's not a midterm. As you can see here, rarely goes above double digits. We've got about an 11% turnout in 2023, 7% in 2021, 9% in 2019, 3.7% in 2017, and 6.32% in 2015. We'll have to see if the Spurs issue is something that brings people out. Proposition B would ask voters if they should increase the hotel and rental car taxes here in town to be used for a new downtown arena for the Spurs, totaling about $311 million. While on the other side, Proposition A would use those same types of increases to upgrade the Freeman Coliseum, Frost Bank Center, and Stock Show and Rodeo for San Antonio. Those funds cannot be used for things like roads, public safety, or anything in the city budget. At an NBA tip-off event with the Spurs yesterday, we went out and spoke with some of the fans and voters to hear their thoughts on the stadium and whether or not they actually show up to vote early.
We have my other son wearing his shirt right now that says vote yes, Prop A and B. So yeah, for sure, 100%. No, the earlier the better. The earlier the better to see where the count's at, for sure.
So the hours to vote starting today are going to kick off at 8 a.m. and end at 6 p.m. this week. Here on your screen, let's take a look at this. You can see some important election dates coming up. Early voting is going to start today, runs all the way through Halloween. There will be times on Saturday and Sunday and the following week before the big day on November 4th. You can head over to ksat.com/vote for information on ballot items and to find some of the best polling locations closest to you. Guys?
These officers right here you see will be back in court this morning for the death of Melissa Perez that happened in 2023. Now, during their last appearance in court on Friday, Officer Andrew Chernak, who was there but not charged, testified that they planned to use less lethal force to detain Perez. He said that he heard gunshots while trying to enter her apartment through a window. Chernak also said that Alfred Flores was the officer in charge that night. Police were called because Perez cut the fire alarm and she was experiencing a mental health crisis. Now it's up to the jury to decide if the officers followed protocol.
Well, this morning, a man is accused of threatening to kill No Kings demonstrators on social media. San Antonio police say 66-year-old Robert Flores made multiple posts on Threads threatening violence against people who attended this weekend's protest. He is charged with making a terroristic threat, a third-degree felony. Flores was booked into the Bexar County Jail and has since been released.
This morning, the city of Church says that Place 7 city council members Tim Brown has died. According to the city, Brown was elected to Place 7 in 2018 and owned a real estate company with his wife, Nancy. Before city council, Brown was the president of the Church Economic Development Corporation. He also served 28 years in the Air Force Special Forces. Church said that details of the funeral and memorial service will be shared as they become available. Now to an update on a deadly shooting downtown. San Antonio police arrested 2 men in connection with the incident over the weekend. Officers responded to East Commerce Street overnight Friday into Saturday, where they found a 27-year-old man shot and killed. Well, another man was also shot nearby at a restaurant. Police chased a group believed to be involved. Now, 2 were arrested after their car crashed, but others managed to get away.
Well, if you're having trouble logging into your job's web services or getting even into your McDonald's app this morning, here's why. So Amazon Web Services is having major issues this morning, and that's causing outages for hundreds of websites and apps, including things like Venmo, Hulu, McDonald's, and Coinbase. The outage is also causing problems for workplaces that are reliant upon Amazon's web service and app stream platforms. The company says engineers are working to limit the impact and figure out this cause. Gas prices inching lower. AAA says the current national average price for a gallon of regular gasoline could reach $3 mark for the first time in 4 years. This morning, it's $3.03 a gallon here in Bexar County, and the average is much lower at $2.46 with the state average at $2.59. So in the past week, the average has dropped more than 5 cents a gallon. The travel agency says several factors are behind the drop, including lower demand, falling crude oil prices, and a cheaper winter blend at the gas pump. Well, due to the government shutdown, the Texas Department of Health and Human Services could delay November payouts to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or known as SNAP. So that program that helps low-income families pay for food. Local food banks are trying to fill the gaps. However, they don't have enough food to feed the nearly 300,000 people in Bexar County that are enrolled in SNAP if those people lose their benefits. This sounds like something out of a movie. Several people disguised as construction workers broke into the world-famous Louvre in Paris using a crane to smash through an upstairs window. So they stole priceless jewelry, including crowns and necklaces that once belonged to French royalty. The whole thing took just 6 or 7 minutes, and the thieves escaped on scooters. No one was hurt, but the heist is raising big questions about security at one of the world's most visited museums.
Well, let's get you on this road a little smoother than the Louvre had over this weekend. Let's check out the roads right now. So far, we're doing pretty good here in San Antonio. TxDOT says we are currently incident-free. Let's check out a look at some of our inbound drive times. You can see we are still in the green this morning, which is good to have, by the way, on Monday before the commute gets started. Coming over here, I do want to make sure you guys know about some road construction that is happening over here. Let's start over on the northeast side over here. This is I-35 and 1604 southbound. You can see some of the red around this area over here. That's getting the backup because of it. Thankfully, though, TxDOT says that that should be able to clear up this morning by about 6 a.m. If you go over to the northwest side, you will see something similar over here. Also at 1604, you can check out some of those lights. We're going to keep a good eye with that. Checking out some of our TransGuide shots. We are looking pretty good so far. Starting to get off to a busy Monday morning here in San Antonio. We are going to be out back shortly here with our main man on the roads, Alex Gomez, and Drive Cam over here. Alex, what have you got for us?
Yeah, well, we've got some construction over here, Devin. This is the northwest side, and this was one of the areas where we had big construction over the weekend. And just know that 1604 westbound at Northwest Military is still going to be completely shut down. You have to use that access road right now, Devin.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being our eyes and ears out there on the road, Alex. We appreciate it. Justin?
Thanks, sir. We'll go outside with Live Cam. It is 5:10. 67 degrees. Temperature's actually on the rise because humidity is on the rise, and we have rain in the forecast. We got to wait till Friday, though. We'll show you this forecast coming up.
People hoping to become U.S. citizens will have to brush up for a new kind of naturalization exam. We got a hold of some of the new questions to see if you can make the grade coming up next.
First, a shocking warning for air travelers, a battery mishap in the sky that could turn your flight into a nightmare. And later, the weirdest new gadget you didn't know you needed, a camera that takes a closer look at what ends up in your toilet. Well, a new era is set to begin for people looking to become naturalized U.S. citizens. So the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services Office says a new test will be administered starting today. Zaria Oates caught up with people around San Antonio who took a shot at answering a few of the new questions.
What's the supreme law of the land?
The Constitution.
How are changes made to the U.S. Constitution?
Voting.
The right answer is through amendments.
Why did the United States enter the Korean War?
Oh, I don't know that one.
The correct answer is to stop the spread of communism.
What is the form of government of the United States?
Democracy?
These are just a few of the questions anyone trying to become a naturalized U.S. citizen will need to study to prepare for the new exam. That's because U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services announced a new naturalization civics test for anyone applying on or after October 20th. It's a change that immigration attorney Marlene Moreno is not happy with.
It's definitely designed to make less people eligible, like to reduce the pool of people that will actually be able to become U.S. citizens.
The previous test questions came from a pool of 100 questions. A person would have needed to answer 6 questions correctly to pass. Yao Yao was one of those people.
Because I took it about 10 years ago for my citizenship, it wasn't that hard. I now only got 2 right out of, 10.
The 2025 version of the naturalization test will be a pool of 128 study questions. A person will be asked up to 20 questions. 12 correct is passing, or 9 wrong is failing, whichever comes first.
I don't think you should have to pass in order to be a citizen.
And how do you feel about these types of questions being on the citizenship test?
I think they're pretty basic.
A release from a USCIS spokesperson reads in part, quote, by ensuring only those aliens who meet all eligibility requirements, including the ability to read, write, and speak English and understand U.S. government and civics, are able to naturalize. The American people can be assured that those joining us as fellow citizens are fully assimilated and will contribute to America's greatness, end quote.
Obviously, I didn't know all of them, so does that mean I can't be a citizen anymore? Like if everybody had to take a test every year? And again, is it like testing where you're just memorizing the answers or like actually learning?
In a statement directly to KSAT, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services said these critical changes are, quote, the first of many, end quote. Zaria Oates, KSAT 12 News.
You know, what's so crazy about that, but it's also such a joy to watch. I went to one of those naturalized citizen ceremonies, and to see the joy of the people who've gone through the test and were just honored to be able to take it, and pass it. It was so inspiring.
Yeah, I've been to some and I always cry. If I see people crying, I cry. I can't help it.
Over.
Done.
Well, we're not crying at the roadways right now, are we?
No,
David?
so far we're doing good. Nice to have on a Monday morning. Great way to start our week. TxDOT says currently we are incident-free in San Antonio right now. No crashes for the moment. Let's keep that going as long as we can, folks. Taking a look at some of our inbound drive times, we are still all in the green here. If you're coming in, you've got about 20 minutes from Bulverde, about 30 from New Braunfels, same for Seguin, 27 for Lavernia, about 24 for Pleasanton, 16 for Lytle, and 24 minutes for Castro. 24 minutes for Bernie, 20 minutes for Castroville. Let's see how long we can hold on to that for the moment here. Checking out some of the construction around town I want to make sure you guys are aware of. Over here, we've been talking about it all weekend long on the northwest side. If you're coming down I-35 here around 1604, those southbound lanes are going to be shut down for some of that construction. Hopefully, though, that is going to be open, TxDOT said, at about 6 a.m. this morning after drivers start to get on the road there. So we've got something to look forward to over there. Over on the northwest side, our main man Alex Gomez is over there checking a look at some of the construction that's happening over there. But meanwhile, besides, Alex, how's it going?
Yeah, good morning, Devin. So the only construction that's left on the northwest side is going to be the 1604 westbound lanes are closed right at Northwest Military, but then you can re-enter the highway right past Lock Hill Summit. It only added about 5 minutes to my commute. Everywhere else is going to be open around this area. Devin.
Fantastic. Wonderful to hear. Thanks, Alex, for keeping us in the loop. We appreciate it.
All right, outside, usually we don't start the weather with dew points, but I think this is an important factor this morning. We've got moisture surging back in. Right now, we've got a dew point of 46, which would be dry air, but look what Pleasanton is showing, 60-degree dew points. That moisture is quickly surging north. You're going to start to feel it, and unfortunately, it has kept temperatures from really bottoming out. We had temperatures in the low 60s earlier. Now we've jumped back up to 67, and it has to do with that surge in moisture and cloud cover. So 67 at the airport, 61 in New Braunfels, 63 Converse. Look at Stinson, 71 this morning. So what a difference just a few hours makes around here as the Gulf opens back up and that moisture surges back in. All right, forecast for today. We'll get some morning clouds, and they'll stick around, I'd say, through mid-morning. Then by noontime, 82, and then by the afternoon, we're up to 92. That is well above average. We continue this streak of 90-degree days in October. I think tomorrow we will be sub 90, and here's why. We got a front through. So, yes, muggy today. Front comes through tomorrow morning, probably around sunrise. And then by Tuesday afternoon, we got some really dry air in place. And Wednesday will be dry, too, before moisture surges back. Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend. And that moisture will actually lead to some rain chances. Finally, thank goodness. It has been such a dry October. We need this so very badly. So let me show you what I think is going to unfold here. Upper level low comes in from California. This is not one that's going to draw in cold air or anything like that, but there is a boundary here, and right along that, I think we'll get some storms Friday evening. Now, it's a little early to talk about severe weather, but I think there could be 1 or 2 strong storms with this. And then Friday night, maybe into early Saturday, we could see some of this activity. Now, do know that with these kind of storm systems, the timing can change a little bit. So right now we're thinking Friday night, early Saturday. Know that that is subject to change. And then by Saturday evening, a lot of this would be pushing east as that storm system pushes east. Something to watch. But I'm excited to have rain chances in the forecast. Right now we're going to put it at 30% both Friday and Saturday. And this would be mainly Friday evening. Could affect some of the football games. All right, let's go out to the tropics. This is something we haven't talked about in a while. There is a developing system here in the Caribbean. And let me show you the spaghetti plots. Now, I really don't think this would have an impact on Texas just because we're getting into the season where we're starting to get fronts and that usually deflects everything. But some of these do want to take this to the Central Caribbean or perhaps turn it back off to the east. This will be something to watch. There's a lot of warm water down there, and we certainly will watch it for you. But at this point, I don't believe it has any impact on our forecast. All right, again, 92 degrees today. Extended forecast 88 tomorrow. We may get some brief fog before that front comes through, and then again, much drier air by the afternoon. 86 Wednesday, a return of clouds and humidity Thursday, and there's your 30% chance of some storms Friday and Saturday. All right, just asked Justin this morning with the cooler air, some of the cooler air that we've been seeing. I want to know, what's the coldest temperature San Antonio has ever seen in October? Is it 27, 32, 37, or 42?
Look, you got a three-way tie going on.
Votes are coming in. Go to KSAT.com/polls, scan the QR code. That answer comes your way in an hour and a half.
All right. Thank you, Justin. 521 right now, 67 degrees outside.
Lithium batteries in the air are causing some scary moments for travelers. And on the lighter side, a new camera is giving a whole new meaning into checking your business.
In today's Tech Bites, the new evidence of the dangers of lithium-ion batteries on airplanes. One of them bursting into flames during this Air China flight, forcing it to make an emergency landing. Smoke and flames, as you can see, pouring out of the overhead bin until crew members were finally able to put it out. Fortunately, no one was hurt. One company now wants to put a camera in your toilet bowl. Kohler is taking pre-orders for a $600 toilet cam. The device will do some analysis to provide data on things like gut health and hydration. There's a fingerprint sensor to identify the user. Finally, Resident Evil is considered the pinnacle of horror games, where you battle zombies and other creatures. Players have long called for a remake of Resident Evil 0. Now, it's reportedly in the works. Those are your Tech Bites. Have a great day.
I don't don't think I would just have a use of spending that much money to get a camera in my toilet.
No,
like, no.
Gross. All right. This Halloween, South Texas Blood and Tissue is urging everyone to face a real fright. Blood shortages in our community to making donating a little more fun. They're giving away a special Halloween t-shirt that says, "I need a blood donor. It's only blood."
But there's a catch, though. You have to donate on Wednesday or Thursday to get one. And these shirts are limited so that if you want one, do not wait. Don't ghost your community this Halloween. Be a blood donor and help save lives. We can book their appointment. Head to southtexasblood.org, which is a link that you can find in this article on our website at KSAT.com.
All right, it's 526, 67 degrees.
Just ahead, what's next for a man accused of shooting at police during a storage unit burglary? Plus,
the longer you wait, the better you're going to do on price.
Just like everything else, Halloween is getting more expensive and it's scary. Coming up at 6 a.m., how you can find the best prices from everything from your favorite costumes to your favorite candy.
Coming up on 5:30, happy Monday. Happy early voting Monday, too.
Good morning. Yeah. A pleasant morning for people to get out and vote.
I was about to say, is it a happy Monday? I'm not sure. It's Monday, but we'll get
come on, we got to make it happy.
Yes,
come on
it
now.
is early vote. Yes, we're going to make it happy, and the weather's going to cooperate next few days. We are going to see some interesting back and forth, though. Let's take a look at the sunrise for today. 7:39. Here's an interesting stat for you. This is yesterday and now today, were the first days where our sunset is before 7 p.m. So that's sun going down earlier. We get 11 hours and 19 minutes of daylight. Our days are getting much, much shorter. And as we look at the forecast for today, some clouds this morning, 73, 82 noontime, 89 at 2 o'clock. Then we make our way up to 92. And I know you're saying, wait a second. It is late October. Why do we keep having these 90-degree days? Well, I'll tell you this. I think the rest of the forecast features some 80s. So today may be our hottest day in the extended forecast. Not only that, we need rain so very badly. If you look at the driest Octobers on record, right now we are still in first place because we at least had a trace back in 1952. 2024, we at least had 100th of an inch. So far, nada. But I've got some rain in the forecast. Friday into Saturday, I'm going to show you that coming up here in just a couple minutes. Sarah.
Justin, thank you. This morning, a man accused of shooting at San Antonio police officers now faces multiple charges and a hefty bond. So police say 58-year-old Richard Asbell opened fire during an attempted burglary at a storage unit near Fredericksburg and Warsbach. That's on the northwest side of town. This happened on Friday night. Officers say when they confronted him, Asbell shot at them. One officer returned fire and hit him. Asbell was taken to the hospital and now faces 4 counts of aggravated assault. According to KSAT's count, this marks the 13th officer-involved shooting in San Antonio so far this year.
And this morning, San Antonio police say that a woman is now facing charges of intoxicated assault and child endangerment after a high-speed crash that involved a 4-year-old. Now, that 4-year-old is in the hospital and an adult is fighting for their life. But police say that it happened around 3 yesterday morning at South San Marcos and South Laredo. Investigators say that a woman was speeding through the intersection when she slammed into another car. Her vehicle then caught on fire. A 4-year-old child inside her car wasn't properly secured and was rushed to the hospital in critical condition. The other driver also has life-threatening injuries. All right, early voting coming up in about 2.5 hours. You see the clock counting down as we speak. Should Bexar County help fund a new Spurs arena? It's one of the biggest questions that the Bexar County residents will get the chance to decide on starting later this morning.
But as Garrett Berger reports, it's just one leg of the funding scheme, which includes money from the city and the Spurs.
Do you all have a minute? Are you Bexar County residents?
On the eve of early voting, Prop B opponents were out knocking on doors, trying to convince people to vote against helping to fund a new Spurs arena.
So what's the sales pitch that you give them?
Great question. Sales pitch tends to be, we are telling folks about Prop B. It will use $311 million of a county venue tax. And we just think that money could go towards other projects in the city. That's a large sum of money, and there wasn't really public input on how it would be spent. Voters were just kind of told it will go to a stadium.
The arena is a key part of the city's wider plans for a sports and entertainment district, known as Project Marvel.
There have been a few who have never heard of it, but once you say Project Marvel, they're aware.
On the other side, supporter Rob Clifford said he's been talking with his neighbors as he makes his rounds as a Democratic precinct chair.
I mean, certainly I share my opinions, and I share the information from the YAS team. When you look at what the benefits of the stadium and the whole proposition, the way the basic terms are laid out, I mean, to me, it's a no-brainer.
The county venue tax on hotel stays and car rentals is one part of the funding picture. The city's share of up to $489 million would be backed by special tax capture districts and lease payments from the Spurs and developers, while the team would kick in at least $500 million.
Real quickly, we're just passing on information as it relates to Prop B. Okay.
The campaigns aren't just block walking either. We've seen mailers and text messages. But how will it all sway people? Recent polling showed more likely voters were against the arena funding than were for it. But also quite a few people just weren't sure yet. We'll find out which way they fall in just over 2 weeks.
Thanks, Garrett. On your screen, you can see important election dates. You can also scan the QR code on your screen there in the corner for everything you need to know about the November 4th election. We have a full breakdown and explanation of everything on the ballot available to you right now on KSAT.com.
Okay, let's get to your morning headlines. We got some scary moments aboard a United Airlines flight, and this happened on Sunday. As the plane landed in Houston, United Flight 2662 arriving from Chicago when 2 of its tires blew. 2 passengers on board said that several people screamed after hearing a loud thud, and they say that the plane began to bounce a bit after it landed. The flight landed safely, and your passengers took a bus to the terminal. Now, no one was hurt, fortunately, but it's unclear what caused the damage to the tires. This morning, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth says the U.S. military has attacked another boat in the Caribbean that officials believe was involved in drug trafficking. Hegseth says that 3 men died on the boat, which he says was affiliated with a terror group in Colombia and had substantial amounts of drug on board. Now, this is the 7th known strike that the U.S. military has carried out against suspected drug smugglers in the Caribbean. Now, the Trump administration has stepped up its efforts in recent weeks to stop illegal drugs like fentanyl from reaching the United States. Vice President J.D. Vance expected to lead a U.S. delegation to Israel this week. The trip comes as the Trump administration moves to implement phase 2 of its ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas. President Donald Trump's Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff, and the president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, also are expected to travel to Israel and will be involved in the vice president's meetings. The truce that ended months of fighting in its 2nd week, but already tensions are bubbling up. Israel launched a wave of strikes on Gaza and blamed Hamas of violating the ceasefire after 2 Israeli soldiers were killed on Sunday.
Okay, let's focus over on the northeast side of town right now. We're seeing a little bit of backup from some of this construction over here on I-35 South coming down onto Loop 1604 there. Thankfully, though, that is going to wrap up, according to TxDOT, at about 6 a.m. this morning later on. So hopefully that'll bring some relief to drivers headed in, especially from the Braunfels, Austin area. Taking a look overall right now, we are crash-free in San Antonio. If you go a little bit south from I-35, that's where you're going to see 410 and Starcrest Drive. There's a little bit of backup from some of this construction that's right over here. So if you're headed around, see if you can get around some of that by taking some of the access roads, especially everything around there. Taking a look outside right now, getting our inbound drive times. The only one that we are in the yellow for, folks, is 35 minutes if you're coming in from New Braunfels. That's most likely to do with some of that construction over there that I was mentioning earlier, but hopefully that should get resolved here coming up in the next half hour or so. Good to see for some of the drivers. Checking out TransGuide, you can see a bit of a backup over here of 35 at Evans Road. That's why we've got Alex Gomez, our main man, out on the roadways this morning in Drive Cam. Alex, where are you at? What are we looking at?
Yeah, good morning, Devin. So there's another area on the northeast side that has construction as well. It's going to be 410 eastbound in between Starcrest all the way up to the I-35 interchange. It's a full closure, too. You have to exit right here at Starcrest. So that's going to add some time just being right there on the access road, Devin.
Thanks, Alex. Great to hear. Appreciate it.
All right, outside with live cam, it is 537, 67 degrees. We're seeing increasing humidity, increasing clouds. We'll see that today, quite a bit of humidity. But a front comes through tomorrow. What does that mean for our forecast? We'll show it to you coming up.
We'll want to rep your Spurs and save some cash while you're at it. The team's teaming up with Frost Bank, and this new card could be your ticket to VIP treatment.
And if you're a parent, you know teen drivers can be a little nerve-wracking behind the wheel, but not to mention how expensive that insurance could get. Coming up, how much you can save if you know where to look.
And this past weekend, we had a lot of slowing because of construction. Some areas, it's still ongoing. After the break, we'll let you know which areas to watch out for.
Well, this week is National Teen Driver Safety, and if you're a parent, you know teen drivers can be risky behind the wheel, and that often means higher insurance costs.
Our very own Erica Hernandez shares helpful ways to help families pick the right car and make smart insurance choices that could save you thousands each year.
For now, Jordan Hinkson is just getting a feel for the road with mom by his side.
Ideally, the car for him would be bubble wrapped, but in the real world, I would just want something that's safe.
The type of car matters because teens have crash rates nearly 4 times those of drivers 20 and older, and car crashes are the leading cause of death for ages 15 through 24. Choosing the right vehicle is critical.
You're going to want to choose a car that isn't too small and also that isn't too fast. Not only is it going to be cheaper to insure, but it's also going to give that teen driver a better sense of their speed.
Consumer Reports and the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety identified more than 50 used cars under $20,000 that have performance and features designed to keep young drivers out of a crash, but that also have high levels of crash protection if the worst does occur. On the list, popular picks like the Honda Civic, Toyota Corolla, and Hyundai Tucson. But finding the right car is only half the challenge. Insuring your teen can be pricey. Premiums can run much higher than for experienced drivers. One common question, should you put your teen on a separate plan?
In general, no. Putting your kid in a separate plan will cost more money. So shop around. As we found, and as we find over and over, loyalty doesn't pay. Insurance companies want to attract you with lower rates.
Consumer Reports found that the median savings for policyholders who switched insurers recently was $461 on their annual premium. As for coverage, it may be tempting to cut back on collision or comprehensive to save money, but CR says,
never skimp on liability insurance, even if it does save you money on your premium.
The right car and coverage can go a long way toward protecting teen drivers. Erica Hernandez, KSAT 12 News.
Well, let's make sure that everyone's staying safe out here on the morning. Good thing that we've got going on right now. That inbound drive time coming in for New Braunfels, it was about 35 minutes earlier. Now it's getting down to 28. That should have something to do with some of that construction stopping over at about 6 a.m. according to TxDOT for coming into San Antonio. Besides that, though, we are doing really great overall in town, crash-free, except for some of these backup spots over here on the northeast side of town. That has to do with some of that construction we've been talking about. But if you take a look over here to the northwest side of town, we are doing better this morning as drivers start to make their way in through San Antonio over here, coming around in. And if you're coming in over from that Austin, New Braunfels area, there is a little bit of that backup right there. But check it out. We are starting to see some light on the other side of this, folks. Just hang in there. That construction should be wrapping up shortly over here. Over here at 410 and Starcrest, you're going to have to get out of the way here. Check out some of that backup that's over here, stopping some of our drivers from making their way through. If we check out TransGuide, conditions out there look pretty good for drivers so far. Nothing on the roads to worry about. It's just navigating them that you might find a little challenging this morning. Fortunately, we've got Alex Gomez live for us in Drive Cam this morning. Alex, where are you at right now?
Well, I'm on the northeast side, 410 eastbound right here by Austin Highway. So 410 eastbound completely shut down. You have to use that access road, and then you can re-enter the highway right near Austin Highway. So it took me about 10 minutes to get through that area. Devin.
Safe driving out there, Alex. Best of luck, and make sure if you see any teen drivers on the road, you're keeping an extra watchful eye on them.
All right, thanks, guys. Let's take a look at the satellite picture here across the the area this morning, and we've got some low clouds that are starting to surge in, indicative of added moisture. So yesterday was dry, right? We had low humidity. Humidity is surging back in this morning. You'll start to feel it a little bit more. It's also driving temperatures up. So we start off with mostly cloudy skies this morning. Here's a look at the forecast dew points. So yes, we see dew points rising to the 60s. We would call that muggy. There is a front, though, and this front arrives by tomorrow morning. So this is that back and forth that we're going to play with the humidity here. That front should be here by sunrise tomorrow. So we start off very humid, but by the afternoon, dry air plunges in, and we'll see the afternoon be very dry. So that's the, again, the back and forth with this humidity, and we're going to see a lot of it this week. Outside, cloudy, 67, 61 in New Braunfels, 66 Converse, 66 in Boerne. We've got very light winds at this hour, and temperatures today will still make their way up into the low 90s. 92 is what we're looking at this afternoon. 93 in Converse, 90 in Boerne, 90 in Comfort. Another October day that is spent well above average. I know it's not fair, but we will get some slightly cooler air tomorrow thanks to the front. As I mentioned, it should be here by about sunrise, 5 to 7 a.m. in the Hill Country. I'd say 7 to 9 San Antonio points south and through the rest of the area by midday. Behind it, we will get some breezy winds, not necessarily overly gusty. And then, yes, that lower humidity drives in. And yes, it will be a little bit cooler, not by a large margin, but cooler nonetheless. 88 in San Antonio, 87 in Boerne, 86 Comfort. So we'll see some 80s on the map this morning, or tomorrow morning, or no, tomorrow afternoon, I should say, which will be nice. It'll be a nice change. All right, here's the Futurecast long term. So this is what we'll be watching by Friday and Saturday. Area of low pressure moves across the plains. That will bring some showers and storms into play Friday evening. So this is around 7 o'clock. I do think we could see even a strong storm or two with this. And then by Saturday morning, a lot of these storms would start to drift east. But that's kind of our window right now. I think it could change a little bit as we get closer, but that's the idea. Late Friday, early Saturday would be our best shot at rain, probably our best shot that we've had so far this month, which we desperately need the rain. And then by Sunday, that would be moving away. Hey, real quick, heading out to Lost Maples. It's about that time, although I don't know if you want to go out there just yet. Maples, the maple trees, according to Lost Maples' Facebook page, remain bright green, so we're not there yet. We're likely going to have to wait a little bit longer. Typically, it takes some rain, a cold front, which, again, we have not seen a lot of cool air. So it may be delayed some. You'll want to check their Facebook page, or we'll keep you updated too on what's going on out there at Lost Maples. All right, 88 tomorrow, 86 Wednesday. We may get some brief fog and clouds Thursday, and there's your 30% chance of rain Friday and Saturday.
I know drier times can lead to the leaves not turning early.
They just need some change. We need some change. Also, a good, cool, crisp morning would help. So I'm asking you this morning, what's the coldest temperature San Antonio has seen in October ever since records have been kept? Is it 27, 32, 37, 42? We got votes for all of them, but 27 is leading the way. Go to ksat.com/poll or scan the QR code. Brought to you this morning by Capital Farm Credit. That answer is in 1 hour.
All right, 5:51 right now, 67 degrees outside.
Silver and Black Pride now comes with perks, from courtside seats to exclusive events. How a new Spurs debit card could score you some major fan benefits.
Welcome back, 5:54. In your morning consumer headlines, we got a cinnamon product has been recalled due to possible lead contamination. The latest recall involves the Haiti brand cinnamon powder. It was sold in 8-ounce square bottles with a best by date of February 9th, 2025. FDA says that no injuries or illnesses have been reported in connection to this specific recall, but consumers should return the product to the store for a full refund. Also, check this out right here. Allison, we got a patient at Chris's Children's living with a rare condition called dysautonomia. Now, she had her dream come true, a huge Jonas Brothers fan, and thanks to Children's Miracle Network hospitals, she got to see them live here in San Antonio this past weekend and meet them backstage with VIP passes. Now, despite everything she's been through, Allison's positivity continues to inspire everyone around her, and this unforgettable night brought her and her family so much joy and hope.
Okay, the Spurs, they're getting fans hyped for the new season and giving them a new way to show their silver and black pride. So check this out. The team's tip-off party this weekend, the Spurs and Frostbank unveiled a new co-branded debit card. I'm saying debit card. This isn't a credit card. Very cool. Cardholders can score discounts on Spurs tickets and merchandise, get access to special events through the Frost Club, and even be entered into ticket giveaways, both at the Frost Bank Center and up the road at Moody Center. I want to score one of these.
I was just going to say, you.
I'm a Frost Bank girl, and I mean, not for the. I just want the. I want the
card.
I want the card. It looks cool.
I got you, girl. Okay, it is 5:56 right now, 67 degrees outside.
Okay, a man shot inside his SUV while sitting outside a West Side bar. Up next, what we know about the suspects.
And budget-friendly and totally on trend, Goodwill San Antonio's fashion show and Muertos Fest turning heads. Up next, we're showing off this year's hottest looks, plus how you can snag your Halloween and festival outfits without breaking the bank.
Taking a look outside, Alex Gomet's on the road for us. Lots of major construction projects at 410, 35. He's giving us those backup times, what you need to know before you head out the door.